Did you know that Alien Romulus has direct connections to all the original movies in the Alien saga? Additionally, the film makes many references to the iconic video game, Alien Isolation. We'll cover all of this here. Today on Charlietales, we'll review 20 curiosities and secrets about Alien Romulus. Ready? Let's go! In the movie, there are several moments when a phone appears on screen, shown as if it's important. According to the film's director, Fede Alvarez, this is a reference to the Alien Isolation video game. In the game, emergency phones function as save points for the player. The director has stated that he placed several phones in the movie just before the terrifying scenes. This was his way of connecting the film to the video game, but it also serves as a hint to fans that whenever they see a phone on screen, something is about to happen. At the beginning of the film, when Rain and Andy are talking, you can see a drinking bird toy on the table. This is an iconic element of the franchise. The bird first appeared at the beginning of Alien, 1979, and has returned in other films in the saga. It even appears in the Alien Isolation video game. You can see it here. Early in the film, Andy talks to Rain's friends and tells them he prefers to be referred to as an artificial person. This is a reference to the second Alien movie from 1986. In that film, we met Bishop, a synthetic character who is quite iconic in the franchise. When he introduced himself to the crew, he asked them to refer to him as an artificial person, just like Andy does now. When the character Kai gets trapped with a xenomorph, we see her make a legendary expression of terror. According to actress Isabella Merced, to achieve this result, director Fede Alvarez threw a bucket of ice-cold water at her. The idea was that the cold water would make her shiver more, making her expression more realistic. The problem is that no one told Isabella this would happen, so her scared face is quite real, as she was genuinely shocked by the cold water. At the start of the movie, we see a spaceship picking up the remains of another destroyed ship. These are the remnants of the Nostromo, the ship from the original Alien movie from 1979. Then we see them also pick up a xenomorph that seemed to be dead. This is the same xenomorph that Lieutenant Ellen Ripley defeated in the past. She beat it by launching it into space, but now it's rescued by this spaceship, setting the events of Alien Romulus in motion. Remember, Alien Romulus is set 20 years after Ripley's first adventure. When the protagonists arrive at the space station, they need to activate the power to open a door and enter. The controls of this generator are exactly the same as those seen in the Alien Isolation video game. In the movie, we meet Rook, a synthetic who survived a xenomorph attack. Younger audiences might not recognize him, but this robot has the face of actor Ian Holm, who also played a synthetic in the first Alien movie from 1979. In that story, the android was named Ash and ended up dying. The new android, Rook, looks the same, but only because he's the same model as Ash. They're not the same android. To create this synthetic, the production had to recreate Ian Holm's face using CGI, as he passed away in 2020. When the protagonists prepare to face the xenomorphs, Rook tells them the phrase, "I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathy." This is the same line that the synthetic Ash said in the 1979 film, just before he was eliminated by Ripley and the crew. Near the end, we have a scene where Rain falls from a great height, but is caught by a xenomorph, who faces her up close. The creature brings its face threateningly close to Rain. The image itself is a reference to the iconic scene from Alien 3, 1992. In that film, Ripley was cornered by a xenomorph in a similar way. When Rain first discovers Rook, he's just a deactivated and powerless android, but suddenly Rook surprises her by violently grabbing her leg. This is a reference to the Alien Isolation video game. In that game, there's a very iconic moment where a synthetic surprises the player by grabbing their leg. All the xenomorphs and facehuggers we see in the movie were created with real practical effects, and the production minimized the use of CGI. This was done to give the scenes more realism. The film's director used very complex animatronics, and even brought back the same special effects team that worked on the 1986 Aliens movie. According to Fede Alvarez himself, "I didn't get into filmmaking to shoot a green screen." Near the end, Rain is captured by a xenomorph, but Andy appears to rescue her and eliminates the creature. But before doing so, he says the line, "Get away from her, you bitch." This is an iconic line from the Alien saga, originally said by Lieutenant Ellen Ripley in the second film in the series, the 1986 movie.
Get away from her. away from her, you bitch!
In several scenes, we see the protagonists using flares for various purposes. This seems to be another reference to the Alien Isolation video game. In that game, flares are a very useful tool for the player, as they can be used to attract the attention of xenomorphs or to distract them. In the middle of the film, Rook tells us that he experimented with xenomorph DNA to create a black substance, which he describes as the deadliest pathogen in the galaxy. This is a direct connection to the Prometheus and Covenant films. In those movies, we were introduced to a highly poisonous black substance capable of wiping out entire planets. It appears that Rook managed to synthesize it in Alien Romulus. Rook also tells us that he experimented with the black liquid to create a miracle serum, which he called Prometheus 5. And while he says this, we can hear a very particular song. This is the same music from the 2012 Prometheus movie.
Prometheus 5. The divine gift to humanity.
The name and concept of the serum serve as a connection to that story. At the end of the film, we are introduced to a hybrid monster that is half human, half xenomorph. This idea has been used before in the franchise, specifically in the 1997 movie Alien Resurrection. In that story, Ripley also encountered a half-human, half-xenomorph hybrid, and it died because of a hole in the spaceship, similar to what happened to the hybrid Rain faced. In several scenes, we see the protagonists using electric batons to defend themselves. This weapon is very common in the franchise. We first saw it in Alien, 1979, and they are also a common weapon in the Alien Isolation video game. In the final battle, Rain uses a spacesuit to confront the hybrid monster. She then defeats it by launching it into outer space. This entire sequence is very similar to the ending of Alien, 1979. In that film, Ellen Ripley also fought her xenomorph while wearing a spacesuit and defeated it by launching it into space. The final battle has another interesting reference. There's a moment when the hybrid monster surprises Rain, and she looks back at it in fear. This scene is identical to the iconic scene of Ripley versus the xenomorph. She also looked back at the creature in terror. The images are identical. The movie ends with Rain entering hypersleep, but before sleeping, she leaves a recorded message recounting her terrible experience. This is a classic idea in the saga. In Alien, 1979, Ripley also ended her story by leaving a similar message. This idea was even repeated in the 2012 Prometheus movie with the protagonist Elizabeth Shaw. But anyway, that's all for today. If you liked the video, you would help me a lot by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also remember to subscribe because I'll be uploading more videos about your favorite movies. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.